with David-Njoku and Myles Garrett's options getting picked up today, no real surprise there. But this person is asking about extensions for those two players. And I think, at least in my mind, these are kind of two very different answers. So, Mary Kay, when we start talking extensions, where might the Browns be with both Garrett and Njoku?
Well, I think what will happen now that they have picked up, they have exercised their fifth-year options, which means they're guaranteed to have them through 2021. So what that means now is I think that they will work on extensions for both guys, but I think they'll wait a little bit with David-Njoku. I think they'll see how the season starts to play out a little bit next year, see how he fares in the system, see if he can rebound from a really bad year last year that started with a broken wrist and then moved into being in Freddie Kitchens' doghouse. So I think if he can kind of rebound from that, maybe they start revisiting an extension midway through the season. Myles Garrett, on the other hand, I think that they probably will start a lot earlier with him. Maybe they already have. I'm not too sure about that. But I think that they will and should get him wrapped up as soon as possible.
Yeah, if this is sort of strange. If I'm the Browns, I want Myles Garrett signed to an extension before Joey Bosa signs an extension and before any other edge rushers can sign an extension. But if I'm Myles Garrett, I might want to say, let's hold off and let this market reset again a little more, because there's a lot of money to be made out there, Scott, for a defensive end.
Yeah, that's always the case every year. Somebody's going to reset that market, and NFL teams don't want to be the ones who have to be on the other end of that. We know Garrett's going to get paid, and but like Mary Kay said, I think Njoku is really interesting because here's a guy who, was in the doghouse. And there were a few people on this team who, for whatever reason, could not get on the field. Rashard Higgins obviously is one of them who's out of the picture, at least at this point. But yeah, it's a new lease on life for him, and I think the fact that not only is it a new coach, not only is it Andrew Berry coming back, but it's also an offense that covets tight ends. It's like the perfect storm for David-Njoku to kind of turn back around and get his career going in the right direction. And if that happens, then he's looking at extension too. But Myles is going to get paid, and he's going to get paid a lot. And the Browns know that. I think it's just a case of at what point does that happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ellis, when you look at those two guys and we start talking extensions, what's going through your mind?
Yeah, Dan, well, I think you nailed it right from the start. Two very different situations, of course, just based on on-field production. We can start there. But also, you have to wonder that maybe both of these contracts take some time to get done, not because of how either will play in 2020, but just with what's going on in a revenue standpoint with the NFL. Probably too soon to talk about if there's a season, what the season will look like, fans or no fans, all that stuff. But from what I've read, there's a reason the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes haven't really engaged in extensions, because no one really knows what these numbers are going to look like. So if we're talking Myles Garrett, someone like DeMarcus Lawrence making $21 million a year, I can see why both sides would be hesitant to even really get anything written down, because the league just has no way of knowing what the money's going to look like. So though it would be great to get Myles Garrett locked up, I could see his side being hesitant, and I just see it from both sides. It's a murky situation, quite frankly, to try to negotiate extensions right now. I'm assuming, but again, as from a player standpoint, of course, this team would be silly not to have Myles Garrett a part of their plans long term. And then as for David-Njoku, as we've said, he's got a lot to prove. But, starting the year off week 1, 2, and 3 with a score and some big first downs can make everyone forget about his low production and worrisome 2019.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with any of you there. I think with Njoku, I would certainly wait and see. Last year was such a lost year for him. But even before that, there were issues with the hands. I remember that Baltimore game. Everybody talks about the Baker 3 interceptions, but right before that last interception, Njoku had just a brutal drop over the middle of the field, and we've seen a lot of cases of that. So he's got to get better, and he certainly can in this offense. So this is a good opportunity for him to maybe show what he can do.